Staxx, baby.
We haven't probably seen a good flick like this since, what'd you say, Zero Casino, maybe?
Yeah, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas?
Doing good. We're on set here filming, bringing you live in the Park Motel, rundown seedy section of Florida City.
When I was doing promotional work for Street Smart all along up to that point, I've done other press and other podcasts. They kept on saying, we're going to talk about his role in The Irishman and then Street Smart, his role in The Irishman. I want to say, what role?
I would walk around the corner and everybody would stuff dollar bills in my pocket. By the time I got home, I had $6, $7 in my pocket. It was like big time. And I was a little kid,
Italian mother, Italian father. Nobody spoke English in the family. A lot of fights because they used to make fun of me because I didn't speak English. Yeah. And just grew up tough Bronx boy.
The first time I remember actually meeting him was, I guess, 1969, 1970. My father was in with Papa Doc Duvalier, and he was running boats. They called them junkets with gamblers to Haiti.
Welcome to another episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Joseph P Langdon. What's up, man?
You already know what's going on. Chatting with Staxx, big facts, mob ties, we're shaking.
You already know, man. Thank you for coming back on the show. If people don't know, we got an interview that we did a while back. Yeah. Go check that out. Matter of fact, I'll probably put it in the description of this video. And make sure you guys hit the like button. And another thing, go check out his book. The link for his book is in the description of this video. From the sandbox to the cell blocks, right?
You already know.
Bam.
Yeah.
Go check that out, man.
That's a real story right there on that back right there. Hey, Staxx, that's a real story right there on that back. That's a lot of years right there.
My whole body looks like that, man. I'm covered in tats.
Yeah,
people don't know, like.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into some deep stuff today, man, about your prison sentence. Yeah. You were in prison for a long time, and one of the goals is to show the youth that they don't have to go through all that stuff. Yeah. And that big chunk of your life that's gone and never coming back, that's pretty insane to lose 22 years, man. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I don't think that you lost the time because you bettered yourself and you're able to come home and do something positive with yourself. Like a lot of people, they end up going right back to prison. There's a high recidivism rate, right? Mm-hmm. And you're one of the people who have turned the leaf, man. So you're very commendable.
Thank you.
So let's get into what you went to prison for, man. What, like your last day free before this 22 years? Do you remember that day?
Yeah. I absolutely remember it. My last day in society before my release was August 31st, 1998. I remember it like yesterday. Remember everything I was doing. Excuse me. I was having a good old time. I can actually tell you what was playing the last 10 minutes of my freedom. I was listening to Mobb Deep, Shook Ones. It ain't no half-rate crook. Scared to death, you scared to look. I was thinking that Mobb Deep. For those who don't know about that, you need to go check that Mobb Deep out. It was heavy and influential in my life back in the 90s, Shook Ones and things of that nature. And I remember clearly, I was on a run actually for about 3 months, so it wasn't like I just got locked out out of thin air. I was wanted, a fugitive of justice. The U.S. Marshals.
You knew that, right? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew. I was in a whole different state. I caught my case in Virginia. So, I'm from New York City, and I also traveled through Philly. So when I was on a run, wanted to see myself on the news for several things, the first thing I thought was to retreat and go back home so I could somewhat, focus on what I'm going to do next, because I didn't know nobody in Virginia like that. And plus nobody in New York or Philly knew what I did at that time, which was actually robbing a bank. That's what I went to prison for, and attempted murder.
Did you get away with money when you robbed the bank?
Yeah, I got away. I actually got away. No one actually asked me that, right? But yeah, I got away for about 3 months, 90 days or something like that.
How much money did you get away with?
144,000.
144,000.
Yeah, it was 144,000. Yeah.
Wow. What did you spend the money on, man?
Ignorance, stupid stuff. Actually, I was only 19 years old, so you got to think about what a 19-year-old was thinking about at that time. At this time, Jay-Z, Imaginary Player, was out. He was talking about Crystal. He was talking about stretch limos and popping bottles. So I fell in line with that, sort of like that type of politic, and that's what grabbed my attention. So I went and spent the money on foolishness. I lost more of the money than I actually kept, so it wasn't even worth it.
Did you have it all planned out? Like you had the bank thing planned out?
Well, actually, somewhat. It was something like this. This is public information. What I'm telling you, I would keep two of the names out of it because they never was, incarcerated for it. But besides me and my other co-defendant, who never got released, he got caught the same day it happened. You see, and me personally, I happened to get away. Even though it was 100 cops and sheriffs and helicopters and dogs and things of that nature, I still got away.
So you got away with the money. He got caught.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we all got away at first. See, let me explain to you what happened, because you asked me, was it a plan, right? See, I like to be transparent. The only way you could get people to realize that, life is real and consequences as well, as being honest, right? So I don't like lying. Everything I'm telling you guys in my book. So when people ask me questions, we want to tell you the truth, right? So with that being said, the first bank that we was about to rob, I was already on the run for attempted murder. See, I had got out on a bond. And when I got out on a bond, my friend was like, yo, let's rob a bank. I'm like, man, okay, because I already robbed banks already, so I'm like, man, I'm already on the run. So let's go, So we wound up planning to go to one bank. And when they took me there, it was too many windows. It was too many levels. I'm like, I ain't going in there. I wasn't that stupid, right? It looked like a mall. I'm not going to that bank. How we going to get out of there, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, all right. Let's go in that one. So we wound up driving to like this little town in Yorktown, which is in Virginia, right? So Yorktown, Virginia, we wound up going out there. I noticed real quick, I'm not going to really this was in the 90s, so I don't want to make, like create bank robbers and stuff like that.
Nah, definitely don't do this at home.
Yeah. I don't want to create bank robbers and thieves, and nor do I want to glorify this, but I'm just telling you the story that's already in this book, and it's a part of my life, right? So with that being said, we wind up going to, this other area, and it was no security there. Every bank I looked in, there was no cops. I'm like, wow, what's going on? So we wind up driving up. It was 4 of us, like I said, and 3 of us jumped out the car. It was raining. We, like the Wild Wild West, we jumped out with rifles and handguns, and everybody get on the ground. That story. I was nice though. I was a nice bank robber. Even they said that in the trial. They was like, he was pretty nice, Because I was
so you guys obviously had masks on, right?
Yeah. I had a mask on, but when I tell you what happened to me, you're gonna realize that it was designed for me to get caught, right? It was designed for me to get caught. As I go along the story, I will share that with you. So, we go in there, everybody get down. I didn't want to rob the cash register and stuff like that, because I was like, man, I'm already, on bond and stuff like that. So we wound up, where's the vote at? Who's the manager? She is. So she acted like she didn't speak English. I said, where's, but I was nice and kind. And she says, right here. So we go in there. It was so much money I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, plastic everywhere.
It's like packed up, right? Stacked.
Yeah, it was so much money in this bank. I'm like, whoa. And I just started grabbing money, and I filled my bag up so much. My friend was grabbing money. The other one was out there watching our back and things like that. The other one was driving the car. So look what happens. This is how I go to jail to prison. So I can't say greedy, because if you're doing something like that, obviously you're being stupid, right? So there's no greedy, there's no measure. So I just kept taking money, and they already left me. They already ran out the bank. They waiting for me in the car. And I wound up running up. Now, listen, y'all, I should be on the world's dumbest crooks with this one right here. I wound up jumping over the bank counter, falling, cut my finger, and blood got on the money. But I didn't know this. So I run out the bank. I get into the car. I realize I'm bleeding, and I got some heavy-duty gloves on. So I'm like, wow, it had to be a serious cut. While this is going on, the bank people push the button. They pushed the button, y'all.
So they're already on their way, right? Can
They
you
on
hear
their way.
sirens?
I don't hear nothing yet. But, because there's a silent alarm. They do silent alarms. So when I'm running and get into the car, I see about 10 police sheriffs. The brown cars. You ever watch Heat? Have you ever watched Heat? That's what it felt like. It was like Al Pacino. I was like Al Pacino. I don't know how delusional I was at the time to believe that I was really Al Pacino, but I was like Al Pacino in that moment. And my guy that was driving, I won't say his name because he never been, incarcerated for. So I just don't want to involve him in it. But he wound up hitting the floor, the pedal to the metal, and we driving down the straightaway. I'll never forget. I'm bleeding. I'm like, oh my God, I'm praying to God. Oh God. Even at that 18, 19-year-old self, I knew God was alive, right? Please, God, don't let me get caught. Please, God, right?
Don't let me go to prison.
Please don't let me go. I was on bond, all types of stuff. So we drive, we get into this community. It's a bunch of kids out there. It's like a project, right? It's called Yorktown Square. You can look it up. Yorktown Square is a low income area, but it had a lot of people out there. It's 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. So we jump out. We leave the gun in the car because it's like this big, and it's helicopters, cops coming, dogs coming. We run in the apartment that one of my guys, friend lived in. That's why we went that way. And long story short, I wound up splitting the money. We all split the money up 4 ways. The $144,000. You do the math.
So, but the cops are all still all around trying to get you guys.
We don't
right?
know that. We don't know that yet. We think we got away from them. The only reason why we know is because they started knocking on people's doors, and I still was able to get out this apartment. This is where my friend, his name is. Listen, he went down with me, right? So, but I would just leave it like that. He just got out just last year, since 1998. What that tell you? So, he was caught the same day it happened because he went to take the clothes. We had 2 layers of clothes, masks and stuff. So he went to go take the clothes in the woods and burn them. And by the time he come back, the police surrounded him. So he got caught the same day. He never get to enjoy the money or anything. And also, so for me, I wound up getting away. Long story short, I get caught 3 months later. And that was the last day I was out, is when I was listening to Mobb Deep. I was doing a bunch of little 19-year-old things I won't say because it's rated X and rated R, things of that nature. But overall, I thought I was, in the movie Heat, man. It was crazy.
Hold up, I gotta put Joe S up in the bathroom with the trash. Peace out.
What he talking about?
Bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
He said I cooperated with his mom. Anyway,
let's move on though.
Yeah. So they had a warrant for you.
Yeah.
3 months, you get caught. They swoop down on you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you have you ever been to prison at this point?
Now, I've never been to adult prison, but I've been to every type of juvenile group home, force home that you could think of. Ranging from the age of 12, 13 years old, I was in and out of juvenile halls, group homes, foster homes, as I said. So this was nothing new to me in terms of the mental poverty-stricken mindset that I had. What I mean by that is this. I was thinking poor, and when you think poor, your access to life is poor. Everything you get is poor. Even if you have something that's gratificating for that moment, like a diamond ring, or you're getting high, or you're drinking, that is only momentarily, right? So actually, I would say that it was horrible, man.
I hear that, man. So yeah, so one thing I want to talk to you about, you go to prison 22 years, man. I can imagine all the situations you had to deal with in there, and the violence, and what's some of the craziest things you see happen once you got to prison that really stuck with you?
Well, if y'all go look at my book, From the Sandbox to the Cell Block, you will see a lot of the crazy things in this book, right? And what happened, I will give you a clear illustration. The first time I got to a prison called Red Onion State Prison. For all my people who know what Red Onion State Prison is in Virginia, that is the supermax of the supermaxes, meaning that once you get there, you can't go nowhere else but out of state somewhere, right? So I always heard about this prison, Red Iron State Prison, Red Iron. You don't want to go to Red Iron. I'm talking about it was so scary that even in the jail, people was telling me, man, avoid Red Iron. So it had people kind of, kind of like, oh man, Red Iron, I don't want to go there. So I wound up getting sent to prison in 2000. I went to a place called Southampton Reception Center. That was a whole nother story. And then I wound up going to a prison called Lawrenceville. Now, Lawrenceville, was like a party. It was like being in the club, and I hate to say that. And what I mean by being in the club, when you get locked up, your mindset should already be, man, where am I at, right? Where am I at? What's going on? But for that particular place, for that moment, for me, it was a party. I didn't take it serious. I didn't look at prison serious. I was already brainwashed from the juvenile group home, foster homes, and all the other things these kids out here is going through. I've been through it, right? So when I got there, the first thing I noticed was I wasn't locked down in the cell all day. They let you walk around. You had a key to your cell. I'm like, wow, they trying to make. At first I'm thinking this is fun time. But as I started looking at it,
people are tattooing and shit, right?
It was really they was breaking us in to be comfortable. They gave me a key to my room. Like you have your own key, like this is like like a college campus. And that's kind of deranged, right? That they would give you a key to your own cell as if this was a dorm key, like you in college or something. So it's somewhat kind of like paralyzed me from believing in real. And then I wound up catching an assault case there. Me and one of my friends named Red, we wound up doing some crazy stuff. It's in my book, y'all, by the way. The story about what me and Red did. We actually had to beat a dude up, tie him up, and throw him under my bed, under the bunk. And we wound up getting caught for it. And that's how I wound up getting a Red Onion. For assault with a deadly weapon, which was the footlocker box that me and Red used to cause harm to this man,
This is the Red Onion.
So when I got to Red Onion, all the stories that everybody was telling me about was really true. That's Red Onion right there. I did 9 years in Red Onion. So for all the stories that I heard about Red Onion at this particular time was very much true. When I got there, it was so much different than Lawrenceville. The first thing I noticed was about 36'6" Caucasian men with helmets on, football pads, thigh pads, leg pads, cameras in my face, sticks, like baton sticks, electrical shields, and handcuffs. And they was chewing on tobacco, as I put in my book, and they called me a nigger. And that's when I knew life would no longer be the same for me. And then they told me, once they take me in the room, y'all, please understand what happens to you is very it's very intrusive, man. They invade your privacy. I'm talking about your buttocks, your mouth, your crevices. Everything is being examined by men. And they tell me to go in the room for me to lift my feet up, right foot, left foot, take my clothes off, squat, cough, open my butt cheeks, so they can look inside my butt cavity. Yeah, y'all, inside my butt cavity. This is what happens to you when you go to jail. They look inside your butt cavity.
And you don't have a choice. You can't say, I ain't doing that shit, right?
You have no choice. And if you do choose to, what they would consider buck, and for those who don't know what buck means, that means resist. They will beat you with those sticks. They will shock you with those shields, and you might not make it tomorrow. Because at Red Onion State Prison, it's a known fact, you can look it up, that the officers killed over 30 people there. Yes, the police. They were killing people there at Red Onion. There's no black people there, y'all. There's maybe 1 or 2 black correctional officers there, which means you're in the mountains with people you don't know, and people that don't know you, don't understand you, can't process your information, and only thing they know about you is you being 3/4 of a human being, quote unquote, what they read in books, right? So the only way they know how to deal with you is aggression, and that's what they did. And most of us really wasn't trying to be aggressive with them. We were just trying to go home, for most of us. But I witnessed people die in there. Actually, that same day that I got there, I witnessed the correctional officers strip this big cop diesel dude that everybody knows is a legend, that we all know his name and things of that nature. They stripped him naked, beat him, dragged him across the yard, butt naked with blood dripping everywhere, and they told everybody else that was looking. It's my first day there. You can be next, nigga. And that's what happened. So it's very traumatizing, man, what happened to us. And people think, this is a game, a joke. It's not, and I'm just one of these guys that come out here and tell you, that it's real.
And it don't matter you're white, black. You go to prison,
they don't care about that.
They're gonna beat your ass. They don't care you're a white criminal, you're a black criminal. They treat you all the same, basically. When I was there, when I was in prison, they didn't treat me no different because I was white.
Nah, they don't care about that stuff, man. You know what I mean? Only time they care about that stuff is when they got to deal with you. Meaning, like, they white power and you might be white power, and they give you different, advantages. But you work for them though. When you join the police gangs, meaning that if the police give you food or give you things to go beat on a black guy or sort of racist fight, that means you work for the police, and that's what goes on in these prisons in certain areas.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, like getting comfortable when you go get shipped from one prison to another prison. When you first get there, you're uncomfortable, you're out of your element, you're looking around trying to figure out who's who, what to do. And then it kind of laxes, it settles down, and then you adapt to your surroundings, right?
Yeah.
And then boom, they move you again to try to keep you uncomfortable. I noticed my time in prison, they would keep moving me.
Mm-hmm.
Right when I would settle down to get comfortable, it would be boom, move me. Was it like that for you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you something crazy about my story. And for those who know, right? For those who don't know, I'm gonna tell you what they can do to you and what they will do to you. For me, I was in prison for 22 years, and I was in 14 different prisons in them 22 years. Let me say that again. I was in 14 different prisons in 22 years. 1 year, I was in 3 of the worst prisons at 1 year, in 1 year. In Ohio, Mansfield Correctional Institution, Lebanon Correctional Institution, and Warren Correctional Institution.
You were in the feds, right?
Huh?
You were in the feds.
That's Ohio State. That's Ohio State prisons. I got locked up in Virginia, but I started getting caught up in the gang culture real bad, and I rose up in a lot of ranks and that stuff, along with me and the guys that I was dealing with. And the reason why my situation is different, because the crowd that I was dealing with, we was conscious enough, even though we was doing the wrong thing, we was conscious enough to teach the people that we was doing the wrong things with. Meaning we would help them learn how to read, right? We'll put money on their books. We exercise with them. I made sure that they learned 2 or 3 words every day, the definition, while we was locked up in these cages. So we did lean on each other more than just the negative part of it. That's why we are able to come out here and communicate with eloquence and express ourselves to the masses, because we studied these things in there. I don't want to promote that we just in there ignorant, killing, stabbing, and all of these foolish things that people think. That's not what goes on in there, right? Of course there's stabbings. I had to stab 6, 7 people in prison. There's also in my book, and if you go to the KDP version, you will see the actual charges that they charged me with in the prison. Is also in this book as well. Everything I speak about is black and white proof receipts of what I've been through. I don't talk about nothing I haven't been through. But to add on to what you were saying, you have to realize, it's kill or be killed in there, and me being someone with that type of time, you have to understand the psychological aspect of it as well. For my young people out there, let me explain something to y'all. Like they say, the light-skinned people in our black communities and Latino communities are weak and things like that, pretty boys. And I'm sure y'all can identify with some of that in y'all communities, in terms of, because you come from black communities, white communities, you've been around, so you know the differences. But in some areas, right, you got to realize that there's prejudice in our own communities, right? So psychologically, I was already taught that I look like Biggie Smalls. Did you hear what I said? From the age of maybe 10 or 11 years old, or maybe whatever 1993 came along, I believed I looked like Biggie Smalls. I swear to you, baby, baby, I had the one eye, you know, I be baby, baby, all that, right? I believe that I was Biggie Smalls. Let me tell you why. Because he was one big black strong brother, right? Right. So I had to become one big black strong brother, right? When I had to face all these other big black strong brothers and big strong white men and Mexican men, Latino men, and Asian men, right? So I became Biggie Smalls. I didn't look at myself as a light-skinned pretty boy. I looked at myself as, yo, listen, you mess with me, today's gonna be the day either you or me gonna go away from here, right? I didn't play no games with nobody in prison, and everybody that know me can tell you this, vouch for it. At the same time, that was just like a psychological thing because I wanted to make it home to my mother. So I'm not trying to say I was tough. I was actually scared as hell. You see what I'm saying? I was scared as hell. So that's why I became very violent and had my back against the wall. Like I said, for my first year in prison, I wore my drawers and my boots in the shower. You know?
I've done that too, man.
Yeah.
I've done it too.
So, you know, this was real. This is a real life story of what's going on. And obviously, it's too many people going in and out of prison believing that this is cool. But me being the type of person that I don't care what people think about me, because at the end of the day, I'm doing the right thing. I live my life righteous. You know what I'm saying? I've been out here for 2 years after doing 22 years, and I've been doing exceptionally well in terms of my thinking and where I'm trying to go in my life. And at the same time, where I'm trying to show other little people out here, like, yo, listen, you ain't got to do 22 years to figure it out. You can listen to me for 22 hours, and guess what? Your life gonna change.
Yeah. So when I was in prison, I was in a program, right?
Really?
A program to try to help myself to get out a little earlier and better myself, right?
Mhm.
So while you're involved with this program, you got to do the right thing. You got to follow the rules. You can't get in no trouble.
Yeah.
How hard was it for you to stay away from the bullshit in there once you
Very hard. Very hard.
once you decided I wanna fly right, I don't want to fuck around and backpedal?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like I said, for the first 10 years of my incarceration, I didn't even know I was in prison, man. You know, that sounds stupid, and I blame that on, once again, having a poverty mindset, not expecting nothing of myself. You know, when you don't expect nothing of yourself, time flies by. You know, you're not calculating the numbers, because it doesn't matter. What matters if you're not, you know, looking at yourself with value, you know? So I fell into that trap, despite me knowing that I did have value, because I was always smart, articulate, but I was very ignorant to the fact of what life can really happen to me, the shit that can happen to you. So, you know, I really want to say this, man, because it's very important that people understand one thing, because I'm not here faking with people, right? But when I went in there in that prison system, I'm gonna give it to you in my Joe Pesci voice, since we're on Mob Tops. Now listen, youngins, this is Joseph Pesci right here. You hear me? Eh? You that bang? You hear me? Now listen, when I was in that penitentiary, man, this Joe Pesci, Goodfellas, you know, I had to stab a lot of people in that joint. I had to get the knife and put it in a couple people's vertebrae and stuff like that. The peace. And the thing about it is this, man, in my Joe Pesci voice, you know? When I had to grab that knife, man, it was either him or me, you know? And I never was afraid to do it. Never. But I never did it unless you did something to me. Got a bing, bada boom, bada bang. So people out there in this world right now, Bill Staxx, that's in prison, that move on instinct, right? While you in there running around stealing, playing in these games, holding guns, and you're not really about that life, and you wind up getting in trouble, you get 10, 15 years, you're going to be surrounded around people who's about that life, and they ain't never going home, you dig? So that was my mindset in there. It was hard for me to be good. Be good? I got caught with 6 cell phones in prison. That means if I got caught with 6 of them, what about the ones I didn't get caught with?
I mean, you get away with, right?
I got charged with at least 5 stabbings in prison. And by the grace of God, right, they never took me to another case. And I did all of these stabbings in broad daylight, like in front of everybody. Because in prison, you have to make statements. So if you're not willing to stab somebody, we ain't talking about shooting somebody, y'all. You know, you can shoot somebody from anywhere. You know, you can boom. We told my up close personal, a 300-pound man who could break your neck, and you got to go to war with him, and you ain't even built for it. You ain't even ready for it. You got to take these things into consideration. So for the grace of God, for me, right, I could have got out earlier. I could have got out in 17 years, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't ready. I needed more time. I have to look at myself and tell myself the truth and look at you and also the people out there. I wasn't ready for freedom. I wouldn't have made it. By the time, you know what I mean by I wouldn't have made it, I'm not talking about on the streets. Of course I would have made it on the streets. I'm adjustable. I'm talking about I wouldn't have made it in terms of my goals because I still needed time to put my plan together. The worst thing you could do is get released from prison without a plan.
Yeah, immature.
I needed more time. That may sound foolish for some people. I take things as it come. You know, I'm the type of person who don't go with the flow. I go against it. You know, if this is not what I like, I'm gonna go the other way and I'm gonna do my own thing. And I knew that God had my back because all my life I've been shot at. You know, people try to kill me. You know, the drug game, man, being a thug, that stupid lifestyle. That, you know, your life expectancy is worth nothing, you know, in the street. So I had people shoot at me multiple times. I wound up shooting quite a few people and things of that nature, you know, living that lifestyle. And that's just a fact, right? So I say all that to say this. It played along with my survival. I'm from Brooklyn, Brownsville. And our slogan is never ran, never will. Let me say that again. Never ran, never will. Go look it up. Mike Tyson, Zab Judah, Riddick Bowe, some of the greatest, right? Some of the greatest are coming from this area. So we already built for whatever comes our way. But the thing is, just because you built physically for whatever comes your way, are you going to be prepared mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? Because we all going to be released one day. And this is where I come to this point. Man, prison, I had to do some real severe things there just to survive. Not because I was a super gangster, because I was afraid. I didn't want to come home in a bag. One of my best friends that was in prison with me at the time, his name is Corrupt from Tilden Projects. A lot of people know him. He was murdered in prison. They had to put his body in a black bag and ship it from Virginia back to Brooklyn. And his family had to pay for his body. Like, these things really happen in here, you know? So I'm just grateful that I'm out here and able to be alive to tell a story so I can help somebody else change their life. That's all, bro. That's all I want to do, you know?
I'm thankful too that I wasn't successful earlier on because I was involved. I was on drugs. I was all messed up on alcohol. If I would have been successful back then, I probably would end up dying, man.
See?
You know?
You see? That's why our testimonies coming from these cages to these stages, you know, is very important for people to know. Now, listen, I'm about to show you something real quick. Y'all stay right there. I want to show y'all something real quick.
Hope you guys are liking the show, man. Hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. Make sure you hit the like button, people. How you guys doing? What's up, Caitlin? Tommy? Gianni? If you're on Facebook and you're watching this and I can't see your comments.
Hey, listen. Hey. What's up there? This is the boss of all bosses speaking to you all right there. The godfather of all godfathers himself. Joseph P Langdon. Now listen, Bill Staxx here. Got something to tell you. And all my people out there in society, you know. I've been around the block. I've been a thug all my life. Got me nothing. It gets me nothing. I had to go to prison and put the work in even in there. Got me nothing. None of my gang buddies, none of my friends, or none of my hitmen gave me anything. So now, I had to come to the conclusion that if you want to win in this life, the first thing you have to do is believe in you. Once you believe in yourself, the Godfather here, the Don of our Dons, me, Joseph P, aka the Underdog Coach, 2 times. Huh? Which mindset here, talking to you? Huh?
Was there a lot of Italians up there, man?
you get a blessing. Eh?
Was there a lot of Italians up there when you were locked up?
This is my Italians, man. Come to Rich Mindset. I love my Italians, you know. I love my Italians, my Italians over here, you know. Joseph P Langdon, aka the underdog culture, honey. Come over here so we can change some more lives. You gotta be diverse. Huh? 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 Yeah. All right now.
All the Italians stuck together, right?
You gotta be entertaining here. Huh? You gotta be able to show people however you gotta teach them, however you gotta be reach them. If I gotta put a red nose on my face, not the clown version, but Rudolph version, the one that leads the sled, I shall do so. I shall do so. Because somebody's life gonna be spared today, huh?
Man, when you first came out, right? I remember because I just started doing this channel when you first came out, right?
No, we go way back, Bill Stack.
And I saw you eating the crab legs, man. The big ass crab leg. You had the big ass crab legs.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I'm making up for lost time. You ate crab legs like every day for a month. You did too, right?
Hey, listen. Let me tell you something about freedom, right? You know, with freedom, you could be broke, right? You could be broke, right? Your car could have no air, right? You might have to put, some what's that stuff? You antifreeze in your car every day because it might be overheating water, right? But you are free. You are free. Man. They say, man and woman, there's three things that we need, right? Food, clothing, and shelter. Food, clothing, and shelter. When you have food, clothing, and shelter, that means you can build for the next day. Because tonight you're going to survive, right? See, but sometimes we want to put the Rolex inside that. We want the nice, pretty girl. We forget about the first three basic principles: food, clothing, shelter. Once you have those three things right there, you can now begin to proceed on your vision, your plan. You have to first protect yourself. So just because you might be going through a financial issue right now, right? You might be financially frustrated. That's one of the terms that my great friend Everlast says. Everdamo Media, what's popping, brother? He say financial frustrated. That's one of his words that he coined, and I understand what he means by that.
I think I'm financially frustrated.
Well, you have to understand. You have to understand, right? Listen, as long as they print paper, right, money, we should be able to make it. As long as they print money, we should all be able to make it. Meaning, we should all have a grand idea because we think so many things throughout our day. How many of those things are really concrete things that you could actually put life into? We got to stop thinking for cheap and for free. Yeah, even charge your thoughts, man. Charge your thoughts. Every time your thoughts come into your mind and something fly, you charge it to the game and you make it happen. And if you don't know what I mean by that, this is a prime example. I sat in a jail cell when I wrote this book, right? And I used my five basic principles, which is communication, self-motivation, leadership, fortitude, and the execution. I always do that. I always do that when I say the execution, right? I always do that, right? And the reason what I'm about to show you is how your ideas make money for you. Now, of course, it cost me money to make this book, this pretty book cover, and have somebody put it together. Good thing that I got my own book publishing company, right? For anybody out there who need a book published, come talk to me, DM me. I can make it happen for you. It's right here. We're doing a lot of different things behind the scenes y'all don't even know about. However, I took this concept and I said to myself, I'm going to write this story out. And I wanted to write 4 different books at the time in prison. I wrote this one and I showed myself, because I never wrote a book. I never did nothing like this. Actually, I never did nothing fantastic. You know what I mean? Prior to, me gaining my identity.
Nothing like this, like a book, something.
No, I did nothing fantastic. Let's just face the facts, man. Let's just face the facts. I stole from people, I robbed from people, I took from people, I shot at people, and I shot people. I cut people. There's nothing phenomenal about that, brother.
That's nothing that's gonna stain your legacy. That's positive.
Listen, if you out there stabbing somebody, shooting somebody, or robbing somebody, taking somebody's stuff, right? As you get older, you realize there ain't nothing phenomenal about that, right? Nothing phenomenal about that. So by me being able to take these concepts, these ideas, because I had several people tell me you should write a book. One being my brother, Natural Langdon. Big up, Natural, what's up? He gave me an idea. Also, my coach, Dr. Kareem R. Ellis, speaker, trainer, and coach. GPS Your Speaker Success. He also has a phenomenal book called GPS Your Success. Make sure you check that out. He's official. I always salute him no matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm doing.
Burton, your boy Jay Burton.
You already know I'm going to get to Jay Burton. You know Jay Burton's my brother. Y'all already know. See, everywhere we go, they know who Jay Burton is. Y'all didn't even know me and Staxx go way back. But we also go way back with Jay Burton. This is the type of stuff we're doing. It's called Bridging the Gap, right? We're taking white, black, and brown and showing that we can create a gumbo here. So with that being said, I took this idea and made it into some money. It don't matter if I sold 10 books, right? It don't matter if I sold 100 books. It don't matter if I sold 1,000 books. Nah, let me take that back. Y'all do, man. Let me stop crying. Let me stop crying.
I'll be selling them to my own family, my own books.
I'll be being proud. It matters. However, I did sell more than 10 books. However, with that being said, I made money off of my pain. I turned my pain into pleasure. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Our stories of pain and glory is nothing but a treasure. It's something that's going to be found in a serendipity. You're going to find things in yourself by accident. And it's up to you to activate it, because you can stay like in a comatose state of mind. So I use these principles that I later on figured out was my principles, right? Communication, self-motivation, leadership, fortitude, and the execution. I always do that, right? You know why I do execution like that? Let me tell you why. How many people you know, man? Maybe even you, Bill Staxx, sometimes even me, right? How many times have you started on a song or an album or a poem or a podcast, but you didn't finish it?
Yeah, I've done it.
How many times you bought an album because you heard the single, you're like, man, I'm going to get the album. You buy the album, but you only listen to the single. Huh? So you missed out on other songs that might express the same vibe because you just bought the whole entire album just to listen to the single, right?
I've never done that, but I've done other things. I never bought a whole album just for one song.
Done it, but a lot of people have done it. Give you an example, right? Give you an example. I know some people right now that wrote books, right? But they still on the 3rd chapter 10 years later. I know some people that started on a video. I ain't seen it yet. I know a lot of people that started on the album. It's still in the vault. So what I'm saying is the execution.
Yeah, you have to follow through.
You have to follow through. So I use my own basic principles: communication, self-motivation, leadership, fortitude, and the execution to direct my life, right? To guide me, my own personal blueprint, my own personal navigational system to guide me to where I need to go. Because ultimately, it is you and only you who can change the way you look at life. No one else can do it for you. They could give you all the game, all the information, all the books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. They could give you the Art of War, the 48 Laws of Power, the 50 Years of Power, the Art of Seduction, As a Man Think Of. You can have all of these books, and it'll just be like a novel to you. It's just like reading, a Terry Woods book or a Godfather book or Mike Puzo book, right? All my people know what the Mike Puzo books is now. Like, come on, let's keep it real. Y'all know what's going on, right? It'll become just that, something that you just read through instead of information. So in order for it to really work, you gotta believe the shit. If you don't believe the shit, no one else will. And that's just a fact,
That's how I started doing this podcast and stuff, man. I wanted to take all my pain and turn it into something positive.
Exactly.
And look how far I came. Look how far I came so far.
Man, hey, listen, Staxx, listen. For people who don't know, Staxx is doing some major things. We just want to leave it like that. He deal with the mob ladies. He deal with all the mafia, mob ties, the people that did all these wild things in their life or changed their life, and now I'm giving you information, right? That's why I deal with Staxx, because I'm showing approval. That doesn't matter if you're in a mafia. It doesn't matter if you was a blood, a crip, a folk, a GD, a king, or whatever the hell you are, right? We all suffer the same storyline. No one makes it out alive unless, and if I'm talking to you right now, unless it's you are here for a reason. God allowed you to make it through all that unscathed, right? For you to make a difference. So if it's you right now that you know that you made this amount of money and that much of money or did whatever you did and God spared you your life and you out here to live and breathe, you need to transform that into something real, right? And get those blessings, because only God and you know what happened in the dark, right? So I had to come to that conclusion with myself. I did so much stuff that I'm happy with being me, right? I'm happy with smiling. I'm happy with telling a joke. I'm happy with putting toilet paper in my mouth and acting like the Godfather. Right? I'm being me, right? And that's what more people should be able to do, be themselves. There should be more people not afraid of who they are. Because me being a young kid, going to prison, juvenile, all that stuff, guess what? I ain't dream big, Staxx. My dreams are smaller than an ant butt. You know how small an ant butt is? You need a magnifying glass to see that now. Huh? You need a magnifying glass to see an ant butt, maybe a telescope or something, huh? But I'm gonna tell you something, that's how small my dreams were, Staxx. But now I'm like, wow, I want to speak on stages. Mama, I made it. I want to tell this little boy and little girl, like, man, shit, you can do it too. I had a gun, I sold crack, I sold dope. Guess what? When I went broke, I sold them soap. I did all that.
I did all that shit too, man.
And the sale. I did all of that. You ain't doing nothing I ain't do. The difference is, I'm coming back to tell you, you should stop. You should stop. Whatever you're doing, you should stop. If it's not productive, it's not going to change your life. It's not going to change your family life. And if you can't get out of bail or jail with the money you're making, you need to stop. You need to stop right now. I'm telling you, man, I suffered for 22 years in prison. You know? Suffered. 14
Yeah, like all that money
state
you
to
made.
state.
All that money you made from the banks and all that, did it equal out to the time you spent in prison?
Let me explain something to you. Let's do the mathematics real quick, right? Let's add it up, right? Now, just say you make $20,000 a year. That's like very low, right? For the average person, you know.
The average 30,000. The
well,
average.
If you look at the unemployment list, and the people in the average income in different areas is 17 to 18,000 in Black communities. If you didn't know that, listen. See, in the communities that are prosperous, the average pay 30,000. You gotta think about it. Black people, man, got the worst. Look it up. What they consider Black people, right? Talking about 17, 18,000. That's nothing. We talking about poverty, though. We're not talking about like the Black excellence of the people. We're talking about just people who don't care, as well as white America, the trash, right? The ones they call white trash, them too, right? Or the ones they consider Latinos, like, get the fuck out of here. Where you from? Get out of here. You don't belong here. All of them type people. Guess what? We get the lowest of the lowest, but this is just rounding up to 20,000. Now, 10,000. I mean, 10 years times 20,000 is what? 200,000, right? So another 10 years is 400,000, right? So let's just say roughly $4,500, right? You know, the average person in America in poverty could have made the same amount of money that I did, and that's not even them trying, right? So I stole from the bank, because that's what I did, 144,000. Had to break that up and share it with people, right? So if the average person who lives just a regular lifestyle, not glamorizing, just want to live just basic, hey, I just want rent, light bill, you know, heat, shoes on my feet, right? They would make more money than I did by 3 times. And they could have been free, enjoying their life. You see? Let me say that again. The average person who makes the minimum of $20,000 a year would have made 3 times the amount I made with this one stupid crime that I committed and went to prison for, right? They would have been able to supersede what I did and never been put in a situation where they had to squat cough and open up their butt cheeks, right? They could have had good time with their girls. They could have raised their kids. You know, they could have, yeah, they might have been living on a bare minimum, but they still didn't enjoy their life. While I was walking around with a knife, walking around with, you know, sneaking and talking on the cell phone. So
Having to protect yourself.
It's not worth it. It just doesn't amount to anything to me. Even if you get away with it, right? See, this is the thing, right? A lot of people believe that we cry about it after we get caught, right? I'm not crying about it. That's why I tell y'all about it. I ain't say I didn't do it. I told you everything I went to jail for, I did do.
Yeah, everyone in there is innocent though when you first get there, right?
No, I never said that.
I was innocent when I first got there. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you some of the difference between people who are innocent and people who are guilty. Let me tell you, and everybody that's been through the jails or the big house gonna be able to laugh at this one, right? When you first get locked up, and if you didn't do anything, right, and you know you didn't do anything, you're gonna kick on the door all day and all night. Why am I in here? The people who know they did something, guess what we do? We lay down and go to sleep.
We're gonna lay it down. Don't put the
we lay down and go to sleep. Man, I'll wake up in the morning, man. What up, man? Because we know way deep in our heart, we did something wrong. It's called a moral compass, right? And this is what the vast majority of us don't have when we kids, right? That's why when we are in prison doing the right thing, and you asked me earlier, like, I would say my last 4 years in prison, I changed my life. The last 4 years, I changed, like, really changed my life because I needed programming. I went through Toastmasters and became a certified speaker with Toastmasters International. I got my CC Competent Communication license. I made it all the way up to the silver. If it holds any weight to anybody out there, hey, if it don't, it was still accomplished for me. I also got my high school diploma, not my GED now. I ain't knocking them GED now.
That's huge, man.
I ain't knocking them GED, but I got my high school diploma when I was 40 years old. Yeah, 40 years old. And the only reason why I did it at the time is because I said to Josh, like, man, I don't need no GED. I don't need no high school diploma. Man, look, I'm living off the experience. And then somebody said to me, yo, Joe, how you going to tell somebody else out there in the street to get a high school diploma if you ain't got one? So my last 6 months, I went and got my high school diploma. I also became a certified in re-entry. I became certified in stopping the violence, part 1 and part 2. Also became a certified professional at POI, Psychology of Incarceration, by Khalil Osiris. I've done so many different things along the way. It's so many for me to count. But I say all that to say this because coming out of prison, we are judged. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how many books I write. I don't care how many suits I got. It's going to be somebody that say, man, F that dude. He did 22 years. Who he think he is? He ain't no expert.
He ain't changed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But those people like that, I welcome them. Right? Because I'm going to prove them wrong. And what I mean by prove them wrong, see, I ain't doing it for them. See, I'm doing it for the people that really need me, you know? See, because it's people that, you know, when God gave people powers, right? Like the prophets, right? Joseph, Job, you know, Jesus, all of these different people, Moses, Abraham, all these phenomenal people, Muhammad, all these great different people that everybody believe in their different books and different doctrines, right? Guess what? They gave them vision. And they also gave them the ability to talk to all people, not just one people. You see? I'm not just going into the projects. Because guess what? That's not going to help. I got to go to the people that could listen to what I'm saying and articulate it with clarity so they can understand the psychological effects of what's going on in my community. Not just mine, but yours. That's why I talk to people like you as well. Because it's nothing different from California, New York, white, black, brown. We all suffering. We all starving. We all hungry. So that's not really something that separates us. What separates us is called class. It's class. Class is what separates us, right? The class. What I mean by class, you got poverty, you got middle class, and you got wealthy class, right? The average people that's coming from poverty areas, as you know, as we all know, are people who are desensitized and basically dislocated from the real American dream. We talk about the real American dream, the pursuit of happiness now. We talking about Will Smith now. The pursuit of happiness, right? We're disconnected from that, right? So we're getting it different. And the school systems are not teaching us what information we need. Meaning, in public schools where I come from, they don't teach you about business 101. They might see you at home ec and learn how to knit or cook a cake or bake a cookie or something like that.
They don't teach you about bank accounts and all that
They
shit,
don't
man.
teach you these things. So you gotta think about it. I did 19 years in prison. 22 years in prison. I was 19 years old when I went in here. I'm 41 when I get out. I'm 43 now. So now I have to come home and reteach myself things that I never was even taught, right? So I'm a new messenger, and I tell people this. There's some messengers like who's been out a long time, you know, speaking the word and all that. I'm new. I'm a new messenger. I need help. You hear me? I need help. And
Did they offer you a
I
lot of
need
help when you first got out of prison? Did the prison system and did they offer you any help to like the
No.
re-entry into society? Did they help you at all?
No. Listen. When I got out of prison, put it like this, I was already doing the right thing, right? My last 4 years in prison, I wasn't getting in no trouble. I only got caught with like one cell phone, which is a great thing for me because I couldn't stay away from them. That was my only problem. I ain't gonna lie, right? I was so glad. I was so like, wow, Facebook, Instagram, what is this? Like, I was so like amazed by this stuff. I would spend all my money on one of them, right? I would talk a CEO, I would talk a kitchen workout. I would, whatever I had to do to get one. If I need one right now, I got 5 on it. You know what I'm saying? I swear that's how I felt about the phones. But I wound up changing my life, and I mean, like for real. Like I started working out. I started facilitating programs. I start looking at things different because I knew I was about to get out from doing 22 years. So what can this system do for me? Well, I tell you what they did for me. They fed me some crack food. That's about it, right? And kept me in jail as long as they could. It was the people inside the prisons, right? It's these brothers and for the ladies, I'm sure the sisters, right? But it's these older elders who's been in jail for 30, 40 years who was the ones that give us the information. The ones who were what we consider certified and, you know, lived that life and was thug life. And yeah, they did all that, but they wound up being there for 40 years, right? And now they telling me, you know, listen, man, you got an opportunity to get out there, man. I ain't getting out, man. You know, you need to go out there and do the right thing. And I'm hearing these things from constantly because I always was somebody that people got along with. And plus I was violent. You mess with me, and I'm telling you, everybody knew. Because it took a lot for you. It took a lot for me to do something to you. But once I did it to you, I'm doing
But sometimes people would push it, man, because I know.
Man, listen, man, I'm just being honest to the youth out there, man. There's people in that prison that would take your life, you know, and like I said, I was afraid of dying in there. So that turned me into somebody that was willing to do whatever I had to do to survive and make it out of there, whether it was whatever, right? So I say all that to say this, man. The last 4 years really, really helped me. It guided me. It prepared me. And now, being that I got all these credentials and all that shit, that don't even mean nothing, right? You still got to work because they say, listen, I'm going to tell y'all something for the people out there that might be one step away from success or one step away from a graveyard of failure, right? You know, when they say consistency, when you get up every day and do something, it don't matter what people think about you because what you're doing in real life, they can't deny it. They have to respect it, especially when you're not asking for nothing, right? I'm providing a service. I'm keeping y'all kids out of jail. Now, who you think they gonna listen to? Let's be realistic. I ain't listening to my mother and my father, right? You didn't either, right?
No.
So it was the people I believed who lived that life or considered someone who made it in which was able to communicate to me because they knew both sides. They didn't have to talk the street life to me. You know, they could prove it to me. They could whatever.
Someone that looked like me. If I saw someone looked like me talking to me when I was younger, maybe that would have helped me.
Yeah, yes. And what he mean, and I want to be clear, what he mean by look like me, we ain't talking about no black or white shit. We talking about people that we know that live that life. I don't listen.
Yeah.
If a mobster come up to me right now who never told nobody, and you know, everybody know he was a killer or whatever the case may be, and he say, hey, underdog coach, what's up, Poppy? You know, what's going on, right? You know what I'm gonna say? Big respect. Well, tell me about what you had going on. You know why? because it don't matter. Pain is pain. Struggle is struggle. Time is time. We can't get that shit back, right? So we come back from the dead. Meaning, for those who don't know what I mean by that, we come back from the dead. Which I don't know is, while we in these prisons, hidden from the world for decades, we're reading, we're studying, we're facing our demons, we're crying, we're praying, hoping that something good happens to us. And y'all don't see these things. So decades go by, we come out, and y'all see a different version of us, and y'all like, hold up, this ain't the same goddamn person that was when something going on and something fishy. No, it's not that. What happens is penitentiaries become universities to us, right? We turn these prisons into universities. We study ourselves. We figure out like, damn, man, when I get out of prison, when I get out of here, you know what I'm saying? When I get out of here, right? When I get out of here, guess what? This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. And that go back to them big ass crab legs you was talking about, right?
Yeah, but how quick could it have turned for you to be in prison for the rest of your life? Even with those last 4 years, something happens and you're pushed
Listen,
into
like
a
I told
corner.
you, before I made it to that part, it's in my book, From the Sandbox to the Cell Block. Make sure y'all check it out. It's right here in this book right here. I tell the story about what happened to me. I wound up stabbing a guy, right? I wound up stabbing him pretty bad in prison, and I did it in front of everybody, like real bad. Greensfield, I said Greensfield, Mansfield Correction Institution. Everybody knows from Ohio know how I was getting down in there, and they know they knew New York. You know, they called me New York. You know, a couple different things like that. They knew, right? And what I mean by that, I say that with respect, though, because they get busy out there too. But I would say with respect, I held my own wherever I went. So you know how my life could have changed different occasions. Like I said, I got caught 4 or 5 different times stabbing somebody. I mean, getting caught doing it though, like in front of everybody, in front of the
with the
CEO.
knife, everything, right?
Well, I never get caught with the knife. I never, I don't want to give nobody no tricks on how to beat the system right now, because that's not what I'm about to do. Just read my book and it'll tell you how I got away with it, right? From the Sandbox to the Cell Block, and it'll tell you how I got away with these stabbings. I became my own lawyer in there. I would study the ARs. For those who don't know what the ARs is, it's the rules. Give you a prime example later for. We here with mob ties. We here with big stacks. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang, right? I'm going to give you some good game right here. Now, I always learned this, right? Always do things on impulse, right? When you at war, right? That may sound stupid. That may sound crazy, because you got to think about it. Some people only can do something to you when they drunk, high, or under some type of, me personally, I don't need nothing like that to spare my life, because I knew ultimately I was a young messenger up and coming to be a grand messenger, right? And I knew I had to make it out. Actually, my last 4 years in prison, I started making videos from prison, just like you see me doing now. For those who don't know, if y'all go look at my Facebook, my Instagram, and things of that nature, go all the way down. You'll see from the day I walked out of prison, I've been talking to the people like I'm talking to you now. The difference is I'm a little bit more polished, thanks to my coach, Greenmar Ellis, who gave me great pointers and advice to be able to expand my vocabulary, my techniques, and helping other people, because he helped me. So there's no better example than somebody who helped you, right? So I say all that to say this. It could have changed quickly, man. In the drop of a dime. It's been times where it could have happened where I had to avoid it, like navigate and maneuver and avoid it, because you had dudes that might be high in there. You got dudes on mental health in there, real mental health issues, who will just flip out on you for that moment. You got guys that doing life sentences, who might just want to use the microwave before you that morning, and you don't want to let them use it, and he bust your head open, throw some hot water on you, small things like that. Somebody could owe you some cookies, and you be like, "Hell, I want my cookies." You like, "I ain't giving it to you." Some guys will beat you in the head for a little Debbie now. I'm telling you,
Even
man.
A state chair, man. The state
chair. Tell him, man, there's some people in this world that will beat you in your head for a little Debbie. You know them little 199 little Debbie? Man, they'll beat you in your head in prison. You play with their little Debbies. I'm telling you, man. I seen it happen.
Yo, if you want to watch the live shows, just hit the notification bell, and click on it and put it on all. And the bell will be full colored, I think. It'll be one color, and set it to all, and you'll get the lives when they first pop on. He said, "What time, man? I always come at the last minute, and I miss them." But I put a link for your LinkedIn in the description of this video.
Yeah.
So you can go to his LinkedIn link. You can go to his book. You could go to his Instagram. Make sure you go copy of his book.
Hey man, listen here, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all a story real quick before me and Big Staxx bounce back, because we're gonna do part 1. Well, this is actually part 2 because I've been here before. You know, we're gonna make this up home because we about to change the world, white, black, brown, and everybody in between, right? As long as you got a booty, you got a chance to get down. Hey, hey, we all gonna win here. We gonna dance our way to success here, right? So let me tell y'all a quick story real quick. You ain't gonna believe this, man. Don't tell nobody I told y'all. It's a story about love, right? Now I know this guy. I ain't gonna say his name, but his name is KP, y'all. He was in jail with me, right? Now he lost his mother. He lost his father. Now he might be watching this one day. He gonna know, because this is a real true love story right here. Now this man lost his mother. He lost his father. He lost everybody who was in jail. He had 1 year left, man. He was down and out. He stopped taking showers. He stopped cutting his hair. He just gave up on life, y'all. I'm talking about everything. Like, life was just like, he didn't care about nothing, man. We'll go to chow. He wouldn't even eat all the food. He'd just pick over it. And he was actually a good dude, y'all. KP was actually a good dude. I don't mean to expose him like this, but he'll tell y'all this story too, because it really happened. And so one day he met this female, she wrote him a letter. Right, she wrote him a letter, and he was on a pen pal thing. She wrote him a letter, right, and he ain't know and stuff. And the letter had like perfume on it. Everybody in the dorm smelled it. One thing about prison, y'all, when we wait for them letters to come to the mail, like that. Oh!
Yeah, someone opens a letter, everyone's standing around him and shit. He's
like, who that? Yo, we on a pile, yo, we like animals, we like wild pit bulls that got their whole, they testicles cut off, y'all. We just like, our senses is on 1,000.
Yeah, you're 100% correct.
If you understand that, all my brothers out there know what's going on now. I ain't playing that. Now check this out though. So one day, I started watching, even though he wasn't taking showers and stuff like that, even though he wasn't cutting his hair like that, he stopped working out and stuff like that. We understood that he felt like he had nothing to live for no more. He lost his whole entire family while he was incarcerated, man. 6 months at that time. Met this female. So I see another letter come through the door. Mind you, he's my neighbor. And I'm always talking to him because you can see good soul in somebody. It's just, man, it was just hard for him to get over the vicissitudes of life, the ups and downs, man. And I stayed there on him, right? You know what I'm saying? I stayed. This is like my last year in prison or two, my last 2. And guess what happened? Next thing you know, he started getting pictures in the mail. Now, this was a beautiful sister now. I'm like, okay, boy, okay. Next thing you know, he's like, hey, New York, man. Man, you think I could borrow a couple suits to get my hair cut? I said, what? Hell yeah,
you can have those.
I gave him 10 of them. Huh? He come back, he got his hair cut. Walk with me, y'all. Walk with me. Walk with me. Right? This is serious. This is a message in a bottle. He start, getting his hair cut and stuff. And we all start noticing him taking showers. He started taking a shower. He started working out again. Then she came and visited him. Because I was wondering what was going on, why he got his hair cut, he working out, he got he saved his money, he got some new shoes. Like, he was a different person overnight. I'm like, wow, what the hell going on with KP, y'all? Guess what happened? The power of love. The power of contributing to somebody's healing. The power of reaching out. The power of telling somebody, I believe in you. You're smart. You can do it. Don't quit. Don't give up. It can turn a dead person into the living. You see? I was once KP, minus the showers.
I was too, man.
I gave up. I didn't care. Until love came into my life. When I mean by love, it didn't come in the form of a woman. It came in the form of God. And I tell people this story all the time. My mom said, boy, you talk to yourself, but if you start hearing voices, you're crazy, right? So when I was trapped in isolation rooms, in segregation by myself with nobody else, just me, myself, and I, right? I used to hear a voice, and it sounded like DMX to tell people this. It was like, hey, yo, Joseph, change your life.
It's fucking
You know, you was
DMX.
sad. You kept. I'm hitting DMX. Translate. So I'm like, oh. I start talking back. Like, what the hell's going on? So I ain't know if it was God at this time. I ain't know. I thought it was probably me going crazy. I've been 23 hours in one. I've been here for 3 years so far. Maybe I'm bugging. This cannot be DMX in my cell right now. Because I damn sure ain't got no radio.
Next thing you know, it's really DMX next to yourself.
No, check this out. Check this out. The next time I heard the voice, right, it sounded like Barry White. You know who Barry White is? The singer Barry White?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. I can keep you satisfied. Baby, y'all know. I heard that voice talk to me. And it said, Joseph, you can make it. Ooh. Right? And I turned around. Now I'm thinking, am I tripping? I know I ain't been on no LSD or no Molly because I'm in 23 and 1. Right? And I started talking back to him. And I started singing. Ooh, I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I'm talking about I've been having a full concert. And the whole time, it was God coming to me in so many different voices to tell me, you are a new messenger. You're going to be challenged. There's going to be trials and tribulations. There's going to be people in your way. There's going to be people who tell you can't do it. There's going to be people that say you should do this. You should do that. Then I heard it in the Sade voice. I swear to you, man. Cherish the day. Don't walk away. And that's when I knew God was alive. And from that day, I swear to you, Bill, I want to take these last, I tell a story. From that day, if people been in segregation, they know what I'm talking about. You talk to yourself, you see everything you could do to keep yourself from falling victim to your own mental distractions and just being off balance. I heard all these voices reassure me that God was alive. And that's when I chose, man. I said, when I get out of prison, man, I'm going to stick to the script. I don't care who with me. I don't care who against me. Because God going to make a way. You heard? That's real deal right there.
That's real, man. You only going to get it here, man. It's getting real. That's real, bro.
I'm telling you, man. This is what it is, man, folks. So, you know, I hope we all can just take this moment and marinate on it. But let's get back to the gangster life. You know what that gangster life gonna get you? Always remember, there's a bigger gangster than you, right? There's always a bigger gangster than you, a badder gangster than you.
Read it in the book.
Oh, listen, it's in here.
Sand block to the cell block.
Listen, y'all see what this is? This is really my body, right? And people don't really, they just look at it as a book, whatever. I actually sat down and told the dude, I want my back to look like this. I drew it up for him and stuff like that because I wanted to tell a story. So from the sandbox to the cell block, which is really on my back, I wanted to tell this story, and I want people to never forget what can happen to them, right? As you can see, it's a baby right there. He got a 40-ounce bottle right there, a baby bottle, a gun, and some dope needles right out there. In the sandbox, that was me. I was a baby around this stuff in my community. And then you can see a man inside the prison actually praying, God, please give me another chance. That was me inside that cell. And then you can see all these calendars, gun towers. It's because I never want people to forget the suffering that we go through. There's so many people who want to get out of prison right now, begging. And then I look around, there's so many people begging to go inside the prison. I'm confused. You hear me? Don't y'all see all these people sneaking on Facebook and IG and TikTok to tell you stupid people not to go to jail and they can't wait to get out? But here you are, not paying attention to what we're saying, and you run right to where we're telling you not to go. Actually, some of y'all is Jay Burton's cell partner right now, or soon will be. Or even Murder, our brother Murder. Or LA Blue. Huh? You know these people I'm talking about. So with that being said, man, I just want people to realize We take chances. Actually, you know what I got? Let me tell you what I got for the people today. You know, I got this coaching program going on, right? It's called From Underdogs to Top Dogs. We have some phenomenal people coming. We actually got quite a few people signing up. So this is what I'm going to do for people today, right? Now, y'all all know the game is to be sold, not to be told. You have to pay for what you want. You have to pay for what you need. You have to pay for the information. What information am I talking about? We're talking about publishing books. We're talking about speaking for pay. We're talking about being able to create curriculums. We're talking about branding, marketing. We talk about sharing our stories and painting glory on the right stages where we can articulate it in the way we want people to know what we're saying. We're not trying to confuse nobody. You know, you can't be in China speaking Spanish. You can't be in Spain talking Mandarin. You know, we got to be speaking the languages of the people. And these are tips and skill sets that will change your life. I'm doing it. I'm living. I'm proof, right? So with that being said, we're giving off 20% for anybody that hear this. We're changing lives. And what I mean by we changing lives, we getting you on radios. We connecting you to the right people. You can look me up, check me out, see what I got going on. And the whole point of the underdog coach theme is this. We are all underdogs, the vast majority of us coming from where we come from. You know, the people that might not be living past check by check, you know, them type of people, right? But they have a dream, they have a goal, they have a vision, and they have a purpose, and they know what they got will work. What we're going to do, we're going to really reach deep in that. We're not charging you $5,000.
Help you implement it, right? Help them implement.
We're going to compliment you if it's music. We know all the right producers. We know all the people. If it's speaking engagements, we know like people like Dr. Kareem or Ellis, people that can help you. You know, we are the go-to people, right? And I never want to take credit for more than what I deserve. And what I deserve is the reality is this. I showed and proved over time and time again that I'm not a one-hit wonder. Like, you know, the bum culture. I ain't never scared. That's a one-hit wonder, y'all. I give y'all hits every day. Another one and another one. Call me Joey Khaled, man. Call me Joseph Khaled, man. I got another one and another one and another one. You hear me?
Joseph Khaled.
Because my truth is the truth. You feel me? It's not hard for me to recreate it either because it's all the same thing. It don't take me a lot to think about it. My goal, with all this being said, is to help your son and your daughter avoid jail. Avoid it. How do you do that? I know how you do that because I didn't avoid it. So now I apply the things I should have did, which is using more of my brain power, more of my rational decision making, more of my consciousness and awareness of what my life, it upholds, and being able to look at it for what I want. See, most times we just want to get straight to the top, not knowing that you got to plant the seed, nourish the seed, and let it, grow into what it's going to become. So I say all I have to say this, Staxx. My program is going down this month. My new book is coming out. It's going to be fantastic. It's coming out this month, my 2nd anniversary. I've been working. But most importantly, this shit is not about me, man. I want people to be able to look at me, a person that been in juvenile, group home, foster homes, everything you could think of, jails, 14 different prisons, state to state, stabbed people, whatever the case may. I even been stabbed in my eye. So don't let me get it twisted. I've been stabbed in my eye.
I was too, bro.
By AB. Listen, y'all, by AB. If y'all don't know what an AB is, an Aryan Brotherhood stabbed me in the eye in a race riot. I happened to walk in from a visit and happened to see one of my guys fighting 5 different white guys, like Aryan Nation people. Like, we know who they are. They got, boats everywhere. And I jump in because this was my friend. And I wound up getting stabbed. But that didn't stop there. Even when I was stabbed, I was still fighting, kicking, punching, headbutting. And that was that. I wound up getting surgery, y'all. So these are the true stories that, you got to realize in this war, man. A good thing I ain't lose my eye. If I'd have lost my eye, I still would have been fly. I lost my eye, I'd been fly like Snake with the ruler.
I'll tell you the story I went through about my eye after.
You see what I'm saying?
It's pretty crazy, man.
It's crazy. So, I just want people to know, man, these are the consequences. And I know a lot of people like, man, that's your life, man. We ain't, man, whatever, right? That's cool. I thought the same thing when everybody was telling me until I found out later everything my mother and my father was telling me the shit was real, right? Because who know you better than your parents? But we think the streets and the people in the streets love us more and care about us more. But they ain't the ones who push us out. Out the womb.
There's going to be a time I can't help you, my mom.
Yeah, so, I definitely want people to realize that, man. If you're into, you need help in saving your children, if you just one step away from success, And like I said, you could Google me. Also, you can check me out on every major social media. Joseph P Langdon is everywhere. You can also email me at Underdog Coach. Let me spell that for you. UNDERDOGS Coach. Underdogs Coach at iCloud.com. At iCloud.com. Please don't let this go over your head. We're starting a process of changing lives from the West Coast to the East Coast and everything in between. If you think this is a game and you're sitting on the sideline and you ain't ready to put your gloves on and get in the game, but it's right, going over there and keep talking your stories of pain and glory, how you gonna save the youth, but you ain't really doing nothing. We out here really doing it. And we got to the point where, we reached out to the Bloods, the Crips, from both coasts, the OGs. We're also reaching out to people like you who are plugged in. So, them ties, what's going on. And we're trying to tell you stories that mafioso, blood, crip, folk, king, whatever the case may be, whatever you are, we all suffer the same consequences. And for those who make it out alive, like myself, like you, and the many people that we all interview, is our choice, right, to keep telling these stories, but it's also our obligation. So I'm gonna keep doing that,
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time for me.
Man, you know what's up, man. You my brother. We're gonna link it up, man. You stay strong.
Definitely.
And I'm gonna share this everywhere. Make sure y'all, look, like I said, man, people should know by now I would not be talking to Bill Staxx for no reason. Bill Staxx got a lot of phenomenal things going on. However, the most important thing is diversity. We're showing diversity. We're showing that we can love, we can hug, we can build, and we can keep it real with each other despite where we come from. Because that's what it's going to take. That's the formula, the ingredient, the key ingredient is learning, okay, we are different. We all got differences. You might have been in jail. She might have been molested. He might have been a thief. He might have been a killer. Whatever the case may be, right? Once we start using our fingers to judge, here's what's going to happen. We're going to miss out on mad blessings. I know some people right now who think they God Almighty, higher hope, Jesus this, Jesus that, the best Muslims in the world. And guess what? They judge people every day. You're not real to me. You can't be real. You cannot be real if you say you believe in something, something bigger than you, but you're still here judging people instead of utilizing the people that God sent your way.
If you sit there like this and go like this and then talk shit about people, leave all that.
I ain't even being a part of that no more. I'm not gonna sit here and fake with nobody for them to like me and for me to like them or for you to support me and I'm support you. Listen, this was already written, my man. You should just call it raising the entree. I could die right now. Like today, I swear to you, I wouldn't even care in terms of God taking me away. I left something behind. Right? I left a message. I left something more than me just going to prison for 22 years. I left more than something me stealing and robbing and taking from people. I left a message, and that is my legacy, that you could go from a cage to a stage and be efficient and be the realest shit that's going on out here. So, I'm so real with this shit. You see all these flies around me? Yeah, it's so real. This shit is so real. So many flies. Look, all the flies around me, right?
I don't see no
Even
flies.
the flies know this shit is real.
I don't see no flies.
Yeah, you better look closer.
I didn't see
closer.
them.
You don't see? I'm the shit. Right?
No, I don't see.
Man, man, you better go get you some toilet paper and wipe that screen or something.
Yo, you need one of these, bro. I'll put a contract on them flies for you.
Hey, listen. Y'all. Hey, listen, man. Once again, make sure y'all reach out to me, Underdog Coach, UNDERDOGS Coach at iCloud.com. We got something major going on from the West Coast to the East Coast. Guess what? Guess what else we doing, y'all? We are proving that we can change lives for a fact. We're not saying, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. No. We're doing it first, and then we're telling you about it. We do it first, then we tell you about it. We don't tell you about it first and then do it later, because that means we're trying to keep up. No, we do it first. That means it's here. And then we talk about it. Peace and love, brother, man. Thank you for having me. You already know what it is. Boss up. And if you didn't know, now you know.
Thank you so much for joining me, man. And all you out there, don't forget, you can do it too. Just give yourself a chance. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And go check out his book. The link is in the description of this video. Till next time, man.
Showtime.
Thanks again, bro.